Hey Facebook people, YouTube people, good morning. Still morning. It's a little after 12. Been up for a while. Been going a little nutso in my isolation chamber. I love it. It's good. Definitely got a lot of time to think, and I think too much as it is. But I had some incidents I didn't share over Christmas. I had a propane issue, and of course the weather was as cold as it was, and I was worried about all the water on board freezing, and I just today think I figured out what the issue was. When the battery voltage gets low, it shuts off the furnace, because if the fan's not going and the propane's running, that's a dangerous situation. So there's a circuit board on the device that shuts the battery off, and I found a low voltage reset button. Didn't know it existed. You know, I hadn't noticed it before. I've been driving the vehicle for about a year, and it was fine, you know, but I was on Cape Cod, and you know, maybe a couple nights it got down to the 30s. Plus last winter I had it dry. I didn't have any water on board until spring. So I was thinking that I had a furnace problem. I tried to access the furnace, took it apart. I tried to access it. I didn't take the furnace apart. I took the side of the RV apart a little bit. Tried to get at the furnace. Saw what a nightmare that was going to be. So we got sand on the side of the road. Watch my pain. Oh, goody. Was confident that I could, once I got into the furnace, I would be all right, but I couldn't even get to the furnace. Then I was reading some more and thought that I had a propane regulator issue, because I was noticing the stove wasn't burning hot as it should. And every time I went to fill up with propane, it would only take a gallon, 2 gallons, 4 gallons. I was filling it up every day in panic mode. I guess if this video is about anything, it's about fight or flight. I guess we all got it. I used to be more fight. Now I think I'm more flight. Although I think some of my kids would appreciate less fight. We'll get into that later. Doing a lot of reflection. So anyway, the fan was still going, but I could tell it was going really low. And I tried to start the generator, and there wasn't enough juice to turn the generator over. And I have a boost in the main battery box. I hit a button and it gives it reserve power from the chassis battery. And I start the generator, and the heat's blowing cold air. I'm like, oh no, we got that problem again. And then I found the low voltage reset button. Hit that button, and the heat came back. And yesterday was a rough day. I've had a little disagreement with some close family members, and then to top it off, late last night I got a message from my mother that she's in the hospital. She got admitted for she has COPD. I hope I'm not divulging any secrets, Mom, but you know, something she's had for a little bit of time, and it's been getting worse. And I guess with the cold weather, she does a lot. She doesn't stop. Christmas was here, New Year's was here, and she just goes. So I guess her batteries wore down, just like this thing's batteries wore down. And oh my goodness. And the flight thing came in. I'm like, oh my God, I got to get home. I got to get home. You know, one of my biggest fears is she's the last grandparent for all the kids, you know, on my part of the family. Jeannie's parents are both passed, and my dad's gone, so it's Nana, and she's 78. She doesn't look it. She doesn't act it. She's like probably 65 in her real age. But I don't know. She didn't sound good, you know. And my sister, when she passed because of breathing difficulties. And I'm like, I just so between the panic of like the heat not working, and my mom being ill, and not getting along with one of the kids, who I love dearly, but it's got, I guess, a little bit of me in him, or her. So that's the fight part of me. They do something to make me mad, and I lash out. I say stuff. I'm trying to get over that. I'm trying to be. That's a big part of this mission too. Is to get over stuff, any stuff. Oh, coming up. You know, it's not. I don't know. I'm very defensive, and that would seem counterintuitive to expose myself on the internet like this, and for all to see and to pick at and to criticize, but that's part of the exercise too. I'm gonna get over it one way or the other. So between kids and parents and RVs and you, whoa, you, this one, I'll show a couple. Well, you'll see. She's crazy.
Shh. Quiet. Lady, please be quiet. You're killing me. You're killing me.
She's also good therapy for me. When all stuff's going sideways, I always have to take care of her, and that grounds me, you know. Although yesterday, in the midst of madness, quick story, the GPS says in a quarter mile, take left on I-5 25 west to such and such. I'm looking for I-5 and Route 25, and she put a gap in. Instead of saying I-525 or 528 or whatever it was, instead of making it one number, you know how the computer like breaks syllables down. So I'm looking for I-5, I-28, or whatever, and the dog is demanding my attention. It always happens because I'm focused on the it's getting off the highway and getting to where I'm going to stay, and going from where I'm staying to get back on the highway, because some of these interchanges are, I think it's like 4-decker flyovers, which was the case here. I was in Augusta, Georgia, and, and I'm like, lady, be quiet, shh, shh, you know, and then it gets up, and I'm like, lady, shut the fuck up. Pardon my language. Yes, I'm sorry. So thank goodness she's very forgiving, which some of my kids ought to be. I love my kids more than anything. The lengths I would go to protect them, to do right by them, is camouflaged by my aggressive tactics when I disapprove of something. So yeah, I respect their privacy, so I'm not going to get into too much stuff, but it affects me. When something affects them, it affects me big time. And if it affects my mom, it affects me big time. If it affects my doggy, it affects me big time. I could care less about me. I will jump in the middle of a shit storm so fast for somebody else. Don't care. But I don't know. I got some notes here. Check on what else. Fight or flight. Yeah, I get into like a panic mode, you know, and it's when I'm in that mode, I snap, you know, yell at the dog, and I'm sorry. Or I'll text my kid a paragraph and a half that after I send the button, I wish I didn't send it, you know. But this really is an isolation chamber. It's like a space capsule. Oh, another thing is when the money gets down, I gotta be honest, I wouldn't have made it to where I am below the freeze line without some help from some friends on the Cape. And I needed 2 more tanks of gas, and the propane issue, I went over budget, which I'm on a shoestring, folks, and you know, that's not your problem, that's my problem. But it's panicky. Hi, you comfy? So, isolation chamber therapy with a therapy dog. I've always had this like thing, I don't know, I wish I could have done better. I've done some great things in my life, but I forget about them. It's like I was always taught, it's what you've done lately, you know. It's like you could have a ton of attaboys, but one oh shit wipes them all out, you know. that was always my managerial, like, mantra. You know, what have you done for me lately? It's like, yeah, great, you were good last year, you were good the year before, but you sucked this year, you know. So I apply that to myself, and I'm my own worst critic in a lot of regards. I found through my life that when I think I'm the only one going through this misery, when I do share it, I find that I am not alone, and that is huge. And that's what I was going down the road. I've not been one to fellowship with many friends. I've not been one to ask for help when I've needed it. Kind of duck my head in the sand, let the stuff pile up, and then, you know, whatever. It becomes crisis management at that point. That's another part of this RV venture, is to visit people. Even people I just know from Facebook. I got some gamer friends. I've got friends of other friends that, you know, like, you know how it connects. You say something and somebody says something else, and you find like you have the same thought. Like, I've got a lot of friends in the dog world. I love dogs. The whole rescue thing about dogs has got me. You know, if you ever want to piss me off, smack a dog in front of me. You won't like what happens next. So I'm reaching out. I'm trying to connect with people, share my stuff that's locked up inside, and try to help others. I found that when I do share stuff, I am not alone, and others struggle with similar things that I'm struggling with. So if I can find a path to success, and if I can share that with somebody, that's great. If I could save just one, no, it's silly. One would be good, but like I think there's a lot more than one. I'm in South Carolina. No, I'm sorry. I've been in Georgia for 2 days. I was in Augusta yesterday. I'm outside of Macon, Georgia. I don't even know what town it is. I think it's not Ellisville, Evansville. I'm sorry. I don't even know. It's kind of weird. It's part of the isolation chamber. Anyway, rambling on. I'm not far from Alabama. I'm gonna get halfway to my stopping point in Alabama. Gonna visit a good friend there. Looking forward to that. Peace out, Cub Scout, and thanks for paying attention. Hit that like button. I want approval. Bye.